I'm so the Bronx. Like, that's why I wear it on my chest all the time. I went to a high school with 5,000 kids. I was the only Punjabi kid there. I consider making music just a privilege to do. I suffer with a lot of imposter syndrome. I just walked into my sister's room one day. I'm like, yo, let's open up a bar. And she looks at me, you're PD, you're fucking crazy. Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is PDNY. I'm a restaurant / bar owner / rockstar on the weekends. And we're here with PopShift. I started making music in 2020. I'm a COVID baby with it, you know. My first song was Heeriye, and because of the success of that song, was I going into this chasing that again, or was I doing this because I actually want to do it, or I'm actually in love with the craft of doing it? And then the imposter syndrome also kicks in, because like, you know, we're children of immigrants. You know, we are first generation Americans over here. We are the change that our parents worked so hard for. So it's like me chasing this music stuff suffice to all the hard work they put into, you know, and then that's where the balance comes in. Like, yes, I'm working over here, I'm running a restaurant and bar, plus I'm also chasing a passion that might not come true, but that is for me and only me. So I had to find like that inner balance of being selfish, but also selfless. Me and my sisters like are responsible for the household finances now, whatever goes in and out. I run a restaurant bar full time. It's called The Last Stop. It's all the way in the Bronx, uptown on 242nd Street and Broadway. You take the last stop, the one train all the way to the last stop. It's literally the last stop on the train. It was my dad's diner before. My dad was there for 35 years. I took over in 2018. I was 22, 23 when we started it. It's been in the family for so long. And me and my sister just sat down one day and were like, yo, we can't just give it up like this, you know? It was like we were this close to sell it to somebody. And just the idea of driving by it and not being able to be like, yo, that's ours still, really bugged me. So I just walked into my sister's room one day. I'm like, yo, let's open up a bar. And she looks at me, you're PD, you're fucking crazy. We have no idea what a bar is, what it runs like, what it looks like, what is it? I'm like, yeah, but like, if we don't do it, we're never gonna find out. And then, you know, we gathered up with some friends and we made it happen. We, you know, got a license, and then it's opening day. Had no idea what was going on, how I was doing it. We had a crazy successful night with just like community, all the people we grew up with at high school. Because I'm from that area, I was born and raised over there, so a lot of community help. I remember closing up, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just there, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta do this tomorrow too. And the day after. And so it was like just dealing with that, but it was beautiful. It was like one of the best things I think I've personally done in my life, you know? Even after the PopShift music festival, you know, you feel like a rock star for like 20, 25 minutes, and you're there in that zone, in that, goddamn, like people are coming up to like, yo, PD, like, I fucking love your music. Yo, can we get a picture? This and 30. And then it's such a high. And I was like, oh shit, like, what is this? And then the next morning, I'm back at the restaurant and I'm like cleaning up the floors, cleaning up the bathroom. And it's funny because one of my best friends, he pulls up to the bar, he sees me doing this. He was like, yo, wasn't you a rock star last night? And look at your stupid ass right now doing this. And it's like, it's good because it keeps me grounded, you know? It's like, I could be all the way up here, but there's something keeping me attached to the floor. And I'm like, I don't ever want to let that go. You could do whatever you want in your life, you know? And if you're a good person, and if you do right by others, they're going to support everything you do, no matter what. And that's what The Last Stop does for me. All my videos have some part of The Last Stop in it. It gets expensive shooting videos, you know, like, and then finding locations, finding people to come through. But it gets easy because it's your own spot. You just shoot real quick, do what you. But now it's like trying to get away from that. Never thought about making music. I never imagined it, never dreamt of it. It was always like, you know, just random rap battles with my friends at The Last Stop. It's funny because it's like, it was COVID, so the restaurant shut down. And for the first time in my life, I had nothing to do. And I was just sitting there. HYDR was there. HYDR was like, yo, I got a studio session tomorrow. Just come with me. I'm like, sure, fuck it, why not? Like, I'm not doing anything, I'll go with you. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, yo, this is boring as fuck. But it was something so interesting about it, because if you're ever in a studio session, you understand, like, it's very repetitive, it's very, like, you're getting one verse done, you're starting the next, you're writing, you're listening to the same thing, same 8 bars for like hour and a half, trying to get it right. And I was like, fuck it, you know, let me just try it. You see, and Burna Boy was one of my favorites at that time. And the song, yeah, that song was out at that time. So I just went on YouTube like every other artist. I was like, Burna Boy type beat. And the first beat was the Heeriye beat that we had. So I start writing to it. I still have the voice memos in my phone. Start writing to it, doing it. I told Heather, I'm like, yo, let me get 1 hour at the end of the studio session. He was like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, yo, just give me 1 hour. I wanna see if we could get this idea done. He was like, all right, cool. So the hour happens and I get in and I do Janea, Heeriye, Janea, Meri. And then Will stops. He was like, yo, what the fuck was that? I'm like, I don't know. He was like, but then we laid down the hook and Heeriye was born, and Heather wasn't supposed to even be on the song. He went and tried to do like a reference verse, but he freestyled the whole thing. And I'm like, dude, this shit sounds like butter. You know, like we need to like keep this for what it is. And I think I played that song maybe 10,000 times in my notes on the way home. I'm like, yo, what the fuck was that? Like, what did we do? So that was the birth of PDNY, the artist, and just understanding like, oh shit, we could do this, you know? Afrobeat with Punjabi doesn't really make sense, but we ran with it because it felt good. And then I showed all my friends. Like most of all my friends are like Dominican and Black, and they're like, yo, they're in the car, they know word for word after the 9,000th time I played it. And they're just like, yo, there's something here that we're vibing to it, you know? They're like, fuck everything else. We like this shit. Like there's something here, you gotta run with it. So that was just the birth of like understanding what route we wanna go with the music stuff, you know? I think it's a privilege for me to make music because I have the means to do it. You know, there's a lot of people that don't have the necessary, you know, platforms or like what we need to like make this a successful thing. So I consider making music just a privilege to do. But the financial burden is insane. That's what the last stop too, you know, like the first 4 years was just building it up. It's breaking even at the end of the month, you know, maybe paying yourself a salary or not paying yourself at all. A lot of people want to become a boss or owner to a thing, but they don't know the night and day things that it takes for you to do, you know. Everything you gotta just be like, yo, I can't do this today, I gotta do this right now. But it's something that you really gotta take into consideration, like, yo, am I built for this, you know? In the Punjabi music too, there's always somebody coming up, you know? Like, it goes from AP Dillons to the Sukhas now, and like, it's hot, you know? But it's like, how can we keep it to that level? Karan Aujla is like going insane, man. You know, and I never really listened to him before until like a year and a half ago. And I'm like, dude, the way he writes, what he's saying is so effective and it's so like intentional. Like when he's saying, I'm like, yo, it makes me just sit back as an artist. I'm like, you're not doing enough right now, bro. Like what you're saying is so ABC compared to what he's saying right now. So I look at him as like somebody that I want to not imitate, but also like understand, like, yo, where does your mind fucking go when you write this shit? You know, like, where do these melodies stem from? And I think it's so dope because like everybody around me too is like, yo, this guy fucking got it. So I think all these artists are great, but I think there needs to be something that differentiates you just a little bit. The one I'm releasing next is a very Bad Bunny inspired, like, I wouldn't say reggae beat, but it's like very La Canción type of energy that's to it. But I wanted to see how it would sound because like Punjabi and Spanish are very similar. If you actually like sit down and break it down, it's like tu is you and you, do is two and two. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of similarities with Spanish and Punjabi. So if you add Spanish with Punjabi on a track, it's so seamless and effortless, you know? It's not like you're trying to do something. It feels like it was meant to be at all times. So with the music, that's what we're doing now. My next release is gonna follow that. And then for the first time in my music stuff, we're producing all our beats now. So we're curating this in-house. So the first one is called 345. You know, you met somebody at a night out, you met from across the room, eyes locked, you guys chop it up. And now it's 3:45 in the morning and he's like, yo, what are we about to do? Like, are we going here? We're doing this, you know, like just trying to get to like that conversation. And that's the first one. When it comes to the second verse, it's more like years down the line. And now we've been friends for so long. Like, how do we take this to the next level? You know, it's me and you and me. Like, what does that feel like? I don't know. I'm not fluent in Punjabi per se, you know, like I speak Punjabi at home. And if it wasn't for the music, I probably would have been lost it. But music has got me more attached to the culture and the language of Punjabi because I want to be better now, especially with writing it. I'm so New York, you know, I'm so the Bronx. Like, that's why I wear it on my chest all the time. Because I'm like, yo, we're from a place where not a lot of Punjabi people, Indian, Desis, Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, anybody comes from, you know. There's a very few, if not like very little, but it's the way you grow up and the people you grow around with. The only time you're getting the culture is when you get home, and you're speaking to your mom and you're eating roti and you're spending what 4 or 5 hours at home, and then you go back to school, and now you're living 2 lives, one in school and one at home. When you're being that Punjabi kid at the house, and then being somebody nobody really knows of in school. I went to a high school of 5,000 kids. I was the only Punjabi kid there. And there's a lot of people are ignorant, especially at age where they think you're just one person, like you're Indian, you're brown. I said, everything's the same. I lost it a little bit, you know, when I was not making music. I was just so detached from the culture and what's going on, and I had no idea like how to navigate that, because I could speak to my mom and I'm like, damn, my Punjabi's like slacking right now, bro. Like, so when I started writing music and when I started getting into it, I got more back into it and attached to the Punjabi language. And that's why most of my songs are in Punjabi and going into like English. So I could just start teaching myself again what that is and what that feels like. This song came about because I was in a rut creatively. I had no idea what to do, where to take it, what's my next move, because I started doing a lot of pop music, and I realized everybody wants that simp side of PD, that lovey-dovey PD, and not that rock star stuff. So for me, the things I released were like great, but it didn't hit the way I thought it would. So I was like, yo, let me just fall back and see what this is. And then I heard the beat and I'm like, oh, yeah, I think we wrote that in 20 minutes. It was done. 20 minutes, wrote it. Because once you get into that rhythm and you just fall back in love with it, it's unstoppable. I think one person that I really, really, really appreciate and really like being in the studio with is Anik. He dissects music, you know, to a level where I've never seen it happen. Like something that I'll be like, yo, this is done. He was like, yo, it's like 20% done. I'm like, what does that even mean? You know, but the way he views music, the way he looks at music. And I was a fan of Anik in 2017, 2016, when he dropped his first album. He's from Astoria, Queens. I'm from the Bronx. So like, I used to watch him from afar growing up, you know, and just his journey. I wasn't even making music at that point, but I'm like, yo, he's brown. He's from the same thing that I've grown up in, you know. He has a similar idea of what it is growing up in these type of neighborhoods and being where we're from. So just that attachment with that, and then the music that he was putting out to the music he's making right now, it's insane. Like he called me the other day. He was like, yo, look, this is what I'm working on. And I'm just there sitting in my car. I'm like, yo, Anik, what the fuck is this? Because it was so great, you know? As one person I'll definitely give all the flowers to. I suffered with a lot of imposter syndrome in the past like 6-7 months, like dealing with that. Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I right to be doing this? Can I even make music? I had to really battle with myself in order for me to start making new music. I go back into the studio now carefree. I'm my #1 fan right now. And my closest people, like my sisters, my best friends, are my #1 fans. And that's great, you know, and I think that's all I really need for it. But I know people are out there that want the music, and it's my job to like do it now. My name is PDNY. Thank you for watching PopShift. My new single 345 is out now. If you guys want to continue following my journey, you guys can find me on social media @_PDNY. You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify @PDNY. Thank you guys for watching.